So this room, these bodies, this is just energy in every form. It's just energy. It's completely impersonal. It's completely without cause, completely without relationship. It just is energy. It has no direction. There isn't anything that's making this energy happen. There's no God, there's no greater energetic authority that is making this happen. It's just what's happening. It's completely free to be whatever it wants to be. Energy is boundless. You could say energy is wholeness if you want to, or oneness, but that begins to sound a bit spiritual. This is not a spiritual message. And so all we have here is energy arising as anything it wants to be. It's energy arising as a room, air, sound, feelings, bodies, chairs, floors. It's just energy being everything and anything. And it's completely boundless. It can't be contained. It can't be measured. It's absolutely appears to be ordered. Look, it's ordered. Look, this is a room. It must be in order in some way or other to appear like this. But it's also chaotic. It's also totally unpredictable because it's free. It's mad. It's wild. It can't be measured. Scientists are trying to measure energy. They're trying to measure nothing, no thing. They're trying to say where the Big Bang started. This is the Big Bang. It didn't start. It doesn't continue. It just is. So all there is what is. And in that energy arises a sense of separation. Energy can appear and pretend to be a separate energy. Bodies are just bodies. They're just energy bodying. But in that body, strangely enough, uniquely in the human body, arises an energy which feels as though it's separate. There's a feeling of something in the body that senses it or has the feeling or belief, even stronger than belief, that there is something separate, an energy in here that's contracted and separate from the whole. So there's a sense in the human being only of what we call self-consciousness. There isn't anything else that's self-conscious, that's conscious of itself as a separate identity, that thinks of itself as a me, or a self, or a person, or an individual. It's a totally unique human happening. But there aren't any humans, there aren't any people, there is no individual. It's simply energy. It's simply energy appearing as that. But the problem, or not the problem, but the dilemma is that as the child grows up and becomes more and more a me, and an individual and a person, so that it's like a monster that takes over. It's like an imposter that suddenly takes over and totally believes that it's real. So as far as the open secret is concerned, that energy is a dream energy. It's a hypnotic dream, which is very powerful and very real for the individual. And the individual grows up and believes absolutely that it has free will and choice, and that it's in a story. I was born, I'm going to live so long, and I'm going to die. So I am in a story, and that story must have a purpose, and I can make that purpose worthwhile. I can make my story work, whatever that means. And so this energetic contraction, which seems to have an identity, grows up and starts to think and dream that it's in control. When I was a kid, I went to a fair where they have wheels going around, you know. And one of the things they had there was a circle with cars, motor cars in it, and you sat in the car, and it had a steering wheel. And I really believed that I was steering that car. And this is the dilemma for the individual. The individual believes that they are running their show, that they are the managing director of their lives, and they can choose to do this or that. If I choose that, that'll be better. If I choose that, it'll be worse, so I'll choose that. The strange thing is that in that dream, there seems to be somebody there that can function and make things work. But in another strange sort of way, whatever that person thinks or dreams they can do, in the end, is never satisfying. It can be satisfying for a while, like making a lot of money or having lots of lovers, nice, or anything like that, being politically powerful, or being a professional victim. All of those things can be satisfying for a while, but they only satisfy for a while. Because as I grew up, my experience was that I was in a car still, on a sort of train, or in a car, going round a circle. And what I was in all the time as Tony Parsons, the individual, was I was in a train that was having different experiences. Every day there was a different experience, this and then that and then that. And I went to bed and then I woke up. And the next day there was another experience and another one and another one. And I was on the move. Tony Parsons was always on the move. The individual lives and can only exist, this dream of being an individual can only exist in time. It's locked in time. No time, no individual. No story, no individual. Me and the story are the same thing. So the individual lives in a story, and I felt that I was living in a story where there was one event after another. It was like that. Sometimes it was satisfying, sometimes not. And I was a seeker, and I would do vipassana and experience stillness, and I would do self-inquiry, and I would experience detachment, and I'd do open my fourth chakra for about 3 minutes. All those things were happening, and sometimes they just felt really satisfying, just for a little while. Something else wasn't satisfying. Something else is not satisfying for the individual. It is the constant feeling of being separate. Although the individual may not recognize it, when the individual, the separate person, the me, looks at a tree, or looks at the sky, or looks at another person, they never see the natural reality, they see an artificial reality created out of separation. There is a sense of being separate from the sky, from the tree, from the person. So the individual never sees a tree, they see a separate tree. They never see the grass, they see separate grass. They never see the sky, they see a separate sky. Because they have the embodied sense. It's not a belief, it's not a thought, it's not an idea, it's an embodied, energetic sense of being something. I am something here, me, this, and the tree is something else over there. It's over there, it's separate. So that sense of dissatisfaction gets to people, and they want to learn how to be fulfilled, how to get rid of that dissatisfaction. In the end, ultimately, they want to learn how not to be separate. So they go to teachers, but the teachers also live in the dream, because the teacher is trying to help you, the person, to get to somewhere. The teacher believes it's a person that's found something, and it believes it can help other people find that thing. So the teacher is on the train with you, helping you to get to a better destination. And all of this is the dilemma of the seeker. So what we're talking about here, what we're sharing together, is another possibility. An amazing, revolutionary possibility. The possibility we're sharing is that there's no one in this room. There's no separate person in this room. The whole sense of separation is illusory, it's a dream. The whole sense that you are sitting there as a person is a dream. And it's possible in sharing and revealing that possibility, it's also what can happen is that that dream sense can suddenly start collapsing. That castle that we all build. I remember building my castle. Me, I'm the most important person in the world. But that castle that me builds can suddenly start crumbling. And it does. It's happening all over the place. So we can share that together in words. Words can bring a sort of clarity, an understanding of the way we have built up an identity. But that isn't liberation. Clarity is not liberation. In some way or other, something else can happen. It is the sense of separation, the dream world is energetic. It's energy. I started off by saying, all of this is simply energy in any form. And contraction or separation is simply an energetically held contraction in the body. And it's quite possible that sense of tightness, of a fear in a way, a fear-oriented tightness, can loosen and dispel into the whole. Because finally, all there is boundlessness. All there is freedom. All there is what is. This room is full of what is. It simply is. This is isness happening. This is energy happening. It's not happening to anyone. It's just happening. It's just life happening. Oh, yeah. What's the mic go?
Sometimes there are some moments happening where some kind of dissolving, I don't know how to tell, starts to happen. For instance, I look at my legs and it doesn't look like them. I don't even recognize what it is.
Yeah.
And so I have no idea what I'm seeing, and there is no identification with it. And after a while, it goes away again. And sometimes I'm walking somewhere and everything seems to be very, don't know how to tell, like unreal, and it's very hard to put it into words.
It's impossible to put it into words, I think.
Okay, and what my question is I've heard so many things about people sharing their experiences, and I'm wondering if my mind is playing tricks on me and pretending that there is some experience or something, nothing, and how to differentiate. How can I tell if what this is?
You can't.
I can't.
No. But the mind will, there is no such thing as the mind really, but the seeking mind, you could say, will try to interpret it in some way or other. And it can't be interpreted. Nobody can really tell it. I can't say to you what that is. But the way in which you can't describe it is an indication that somewhere it's about what we're talking about here. And what you're describing is what I call a state of awakening, where obviously the original seeking has reached a point where something has been glimpsed. Like the nearest I can get to it is when you talk about looking at your legs and they are unreal, or you don't know. That happens for quite a lot of people in meetings or before, or with nothing to do with meetings at all. But we come across people who describe things in such a way that it sounds as though it's another reality. And what we're really talking about here actually are two realities. The separate reality is the reality I describe about people thinking that what is happening is separate to them, and what is happening to them as a me. And so they see everything else in a subject-object setting. So I'm the subject and everything else, like the room or my legs, are the object. So they think what they see is real, whereas actually it's a dreamt reality. What's happening there, when there's a shift that begins to happen, is that what the individual thought of as real becomes unreal. And that we hear that quite a lot. And it happened certainly for me when I was a seeker. And then there was a glimpse of this real world, which I thought was unreal, because I thought I lived in the real world. And then thereafter there's a dissipation of the unreal separate world, and the natural reality arises. But it arises for no one. That's what, as far as I'm concerned, is called liberation, for want of a better word. Suddenly there's the liberation from apparently being imprisoned in a separate world. And that's what you're describing for me.
And when those moments start to happen, then many times a lot of panic comes up. I'm really panicking.
Yeah.
As if I would lose something precious.
You will, No, you will. And for the me is precious. It's you've grown up believing in me, and you've grown up investing in me. We all have done that. I believe totally in me being absolutely necessary for me to survive. So what's happening there is that you're dying. The me is dying, the me is collapsing. And that can bring quite a feeling of fear. But when you say this thing is there, like this new reality is there, and then it goes away. It doesn't go away, you come back.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And try to work it out. Thirdly, you come back, which is a seeking energy, then that which is sought is hidden. Well, thirdly, the seeking or grasping energy comes back. That which it's trying to grasp is no longer there. It can't be grasped. It's always just away from the reach of it. It hides from that which tries to own it. Can't be owned.
So only the recognition goes away.
Yeah, the recognition goes away. In the end, everything goes away, and there's nothing left. There's nothing left. And when there's nothing left, then there's everything. Until there's no thing, there's only something in the whole, in a world of some things. Where suddenly when there's nothing left, then there's everything. And that's unconditional love. It's indescribable. It's unknowable. There isn't then something that knows there's wholeness. There isn't something that knows it's at one. That's nonsense. That's the seeking mind wanting to know something. This liberation is unknowing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Apparently, this most of the bodies of the world have this feeling of separation and contraction.
Yeah.
And the question is has this a purpose why this one, and has it a purpose why some of them then experiences liberation?
Absolutely not. No, the energy is completely acausal. It has no purpose at all. In fact, it's even worse than that. It's not going anywhere, and it's not come from anywhere. It just is. The reality, the natural reality, just is. It's not going anywhere. It's not trying to change or be anything else, because it's already complete. This is complete. But within it arises that which thinks it's not complete, which is self-consciousness. The me, the individual, thinks that they live in time and they have a path to take to find completion. So the me is the one thing that lives in its own dream purpose, and that dream purpose is totally, utterly futile and meaningless. But it's the me that longs for purpose and fervently believes in purpose. There is no purpose. There is only what is.
And for those bodies who experiences liberation, did it happen by chance, by grace?
No, certainly not grace, because there isn't something else up in a pink cloud with an arrow that shoots at people. So there's certainly no grace, and it isn't chance. There's no chance. And this is the other awful part of this message. It doesn't happen. Liberation is the end, the sudden end of that which hopes or dreams that something is going to happen, which is the seeker. The seeker longs for its story to be better, or for it longs to be enlightened or liberated. So it longs for something it thinks is going to happen in the future. It doesn't. It's the end of the future, and it's the end of the past, and it's the end of that which hopes that something's going to happen.
Does it mean that it has no past?
Yeah, there is. It doesn't have no past.
The self has...
There is no past.
So the self...
Yeah, well, it's only the me that thinks there is a past.
Yeah, it thinks.
Yeah, or dreams, or even feels that there's a past.
But has the self a past?
Yeah, and future.
But it doesn't have, actually.
Well, there is no past or future. There is no time. Time is a construct. in the story. You know, the me, me is the story, story is me, and they both are the same thing. They can't exist, one can't exist without the other. So me lives in a time reality, or is constantly only existing in time. And the other thing about me, or the person, or the separate individual, it's a very inconstant state. It comes and goes. In deep sleep, there is no individual, there's no separation, there's nothing. But then the individual seems to enter again, and the energy of contraction enters again, and then the moment it enters, the clock starts ticking. And it lives in a story in which there is past and future.
Does it really make a difference whether it's seen or not?
Whether
it's seen or not?
No, it's not seen, and it makes a hell of a difference. All the time there is a sense of separation, and the individual lives in a subject-object world. It lives in an unreal, separate reality or dream. When that suddenly collapses, I can't tell you, and there's no one that can tell you what that's like.
But
it's just astounding.
Existence doesn't bother.
Pardon?
Existence doesn't bother.
Existence
doesn't bother.
Doesn't
care.
No, of course, existence doesn't need to care. Wholeness is whole. So within wholeness, if seeking arises, seeking is wholeness arising as seeking. So wholeness isn't interested in anybody becoming liberated because there isn't anybody to become liberated. This is all already complete, except for the seeker.
No way to go.
Yeah. The seeker wants, lives in this things should change or be better, or I should become worthy of liberation. Whatever nonsense. Thank you.
Body, the moment, so much fear, tension, and
It's on, I think. Oh, is it on?
now it's on.
This body is in fear and tension. Here or always?
It's only like waves, it's coming and going.
Right.
And at the moment I also feel some tension and fear. Yeah.
Mm.
And it happens, I know.
No, yeah. It can happen in this sort of setting quite a lot.
Yeah, it's shaking. The
Yeah.
whole body is shaking.
Yeah. There's a killer in the room. But this isn't anyone, it's unconditional love. It won't let you go. It follows you everywhere. Everywhere that anybody in this room goes tonight, and everywhere they are right now, they are continually being bombarded by unconditional love. Really. So the thing you long for is continually speaking to you. Continually. Through the five senses, through feelings, through thinking. Not what is thought, but through the sense of thinking. Everything that's happening in this room is what is thought. It's never been any other way. And people phone me up when this happens, and they say, "Tony, this is amazing. I've been seeking all over the world. I've been to India, I've done the whole thing. And what I never realised until this moment is that what I sought never left me." It's this. It's life, it's being. It's what's happening. What's happening is the beloved. What's happening is the beloved. It's the killer. So who are you? Okay.
But who or what can recognize the...
Oh, no one can recognize this. The me can never get this.
Not what, but what can...
Oh, nothing gets nothing. Nothing or energy arises as everything, including that which is separate. So there isn't something that suddenly becomes separate from the whole. It's just energy pretending to be separate. But that which pretends to be separate, the me, is somehow can't hear this song. But something hears this song, energy. So, energy or nothing hears its own song. Ah, I remember me. Oh, I remember nothing. There's a resonance that happens, but it's nothing to do with understanding or seeing or knowing. It's something beyond that. It's ephemeral. It's a sense of something in the room. But the me can't sense, because that something is timeless, and the me can only live in time. So it chases round the whole circle looking for that which already is. The only thing I could say is that all the time that the me is being told that it can find this, then it's being kept and screwed into and reinforced into the whole story. You can find this is a story. So all teaching, even traditional or advanced teaching, is actually about a story of finding something. It's about a path. And it keeps the seeker fed. It feeds the seeker. What happens here and elsewhere is that the seeking energy is starved. The seeker can get nowhere. If you listen to any answer here this weekend, it's continually pointing back to this, back to the timeless. It won't give anything to the seeker. There isn't a seeker to give anything to.
It's not. It's a difference for you before you get this feeling of liberation and now, because you this Tony Parsons here, he speaks about the liberation. You used words, and sure, this is what I'm understanding, that it seems to have you have to get this experience or this awareness of this being.
No, absolutely not. That's exactly what doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. This has nothing to do with awareness. Awareness is part of the story. Tony Parsons didn't experience liberation. Tony Parsons died, collapsed. There was nothing left but this. And there was nothing that knew this or was aware of this. There's nothing standing here now that knows something. This doesn't know anything at all. It just is a response out of nothing. So there isn't something here that has something that you don't. This has lost everything. You've still got something. You. That's the dilemma. The dilemma is only me. The dilemma is me trying to find something. When that me energy suddenly collapses, there's nothing left.
Would you tell us about the story when Tony Parsons died?
Well, would that help? It's impossible to tell really, except that it was the end of the idea that there was anyone. The end of, it was like a contracted energy held in the body of being someone, which suddenly just evaporated. Oh, where am I? No, just this, standing on the floor, hearing sounds. But the whole reality, which was separate, suddenly just... The nearest I can get to describing it is...
Yeah, this is very exact, thank you.
When you talk about what happened to you.
No, it didn't happen to me. That's
What happened, let's say what happened many years ago. How does that match with the idea there is no past?
But it didn't happen many years ago.
It didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen. I don't know whether you heard what I was saying over there. But liberation doesn't happen. There's no such thing as liberation. There's no such thing as a secret. All it is this.
But we still talk about something what was many years ago, 10 years ago. There was something. Or we pretend as if there had been something.
Yeah. Okay, so what we're doing here is talking in two different realities. We're talking about the separate reality, which is the story, and we're trying to describe something which is infinite to that which can only lives in time. We're trying to describe it, and the two will never come together at all. But in some strange way, first of all, ideas about who I am start to crumble, which is fairly superficial. But also energetically, something else is going on in this room, which can't be put into words. Something is meeting nothing. And something is saying to nothing, I'm something, and nothing. No, there's only nothing. You appear to be something. But I'm something, and I think I can find nothing. No, nothing is all there is already. The way nothing stays hidden from you is by being everything as well. Isn't that brilliant? This is nothing. This is no thing. This is no thing appearing to be something. Scientists have already established themselves, although they don't understand the real meaning of it, that everything comes from nothing and is returning to nothing. In their story. This is nothing. This is no thing. Appearing to be something. This is an appearance. There's just an appearance. It's not real, and it's not unreal. It simply is. You don't have to go anywhere to find it.
So, if we die,
how we can know that we are still here?
Oh. What dies at the death of the body is simply the structure of separation, the construct, the artificial construct. Dies when the body dies. It's not there, it wasn't ever real. There was nobody that was alive who will die. It's only the individual that thinks they're going to die. That's a dream. Nobody dies. But the body ceases to function.
But if you are everything, how you can know that you are total?
No, you don't know you're everything, you just are everything. This doesn't know it's everything, it just is everything. So when the body dies, all liberation happens. There is nothing that knows anything at all. There's nothing left that knows anything. Frightening. For the individual, that's frightening, because the individual grows up and believes that if it knows things, then it has power to control them. It's a wonderful, arrogant, futile dream.